Hi guys, I'm hoping you're not gonna fall any minute now because the way I've set up my tripod, I don't know why it's shaking so much. Anyway, let me first of all start by saying that before last year, actually mostly this year, I had not read any personal development books whatsoever. I was just like, oh, it's just one of those things for those people, you know. I never thought about it. I never thought to read myself. I don't actually think I ever thought about personal development at all until towards the end of last year and especially this year. And I can honestly sit here and tell you guys that taking time to read these books and listen to podcasts and all that has dramatically changed my life, changed how I think, changed how I approach things, and it's made me more self-aware. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the 3 books. There's something I read somewhere that said on average a successful person reads 60 personal development books, or books to do with their development, be it in career or be it in personal development. They read at least 60 books a year. I think that translates to like what, some 1 or 2 books a month. Sometimes they'll read not 1 or 2, sorry 4 or 5 books every single month. And then the contrasting statistic is that the average person, I mean people who are not successful, read at least 1 book, read 1 book on average. And that for sure, I know that many people don't even read any books whatsoever that are going to develop them at all. When I say personal development books, I just mean books that are going to push you towards to be better. It could be even books on how to manage your finances, books on relationships, books on the specific field or career you're in, all of that in your 4 minutes. No, let's start. So the first book that really put me on track and changed my life is called The Compound Effect. One of you guys actually sent, I have notes, guys. First of all, I'm one of those people who has like 500 notebooks and I literally write in all of them. And when I'm reading like personal development books, or when I'm just any kind of book or any podcast, I love writing. It's just how I'm able to let things stick in my head. It's the way I soak up information. So The Compound Effect was sent to me by one of you guys. I think I've said that, and it was after I had put up a vlog. I think the vlog was called My Life is an Actual Mess. So yeah, my life was an actual mess. I was just, I don't know, I just felt like I was spiraling out of control at the time. I didn't have a routine. Things were just a mess. Anyway, so I read this book, and this book was literally, if you don't read any other book from this list, read this one. And what it just advocates for is hard work and consistency over time will always get you measurable results. I think that what I loved about this book is that it just assures you that that small effort, or what seems like a small effort to you that you're making every single day towards a much bigger goal, actually counts. Because sometimes you can feel like the goal you have or the task ahead, it just seems so big and just seems so daunting that, you know, you almost just never ever end up starting. You know, like if you want to improve your finances and you've just come across all these books on how to manage your money, and you're just like, oh my god, I'll never be able to do all these things. What this book says is that just putting in that little effort every single day actually does end up paying off. So even in terms of health, and he gives brilliant examples throughout the book, he gives stories throughout the book. So sometimes you might feel as though doing something small every day is taking you nowhere and you end up stopping, but that's not the case. It's actually doing something in your life. So he gives examples like reading a few pages, even 10 pages of a book that's going to develop you, 10 pages every single day. In 2 years, you'll have read way more books than you would have read if you just, you know, went out and said, I'm gonna read 1 book every week or every day, and then you don't end up doing it. or things like listening to a podcast for 15 minutes on your way to work in the morning or on your way to school in the morning. It actually does have an impact in your life. Yeah, and this book I think just really went against what our culture is today, because in our culture today, it's all about I want it and I want it now. You want to start a channel and you want it to have gotten 50k subscribers tomorrow. You want to leave uni and get a job and oh no, my battery is flashing. So what this book does is it just says there's no such thing. There's no get rich quick scheme. You have to put in the work, you have to be consistent, and you have to give it time. And it gives like very actionable steps that you can take, which I think is what I really loved. So there are very many exercises throughout the book to guide you like on where to get started. This book changed it for me. I didn't have a routine before I read this book. Now I have a routine. I'm waking up at 6 a.m. every day. I sleep at a certain time for me to be able to wake up at that 6 a.m. every day and be productive. I know what I'm doing at every point in the day. So and having that routine, I have seen has really impacted my life overall. So this book is amazing and it can be applied into all aspects of your life. The second book that I recently just finished this book. It's a different kind of book than any I've ever read. Is it autobiography or biography? The one where someone writes about their story. It's a memoir. So I had never read one like that. I decided I better switch things up. So this one is by Phil Knight, who is the CEO, founder, not CEO, he's not the CEO anymore. He's the founder of Nike or Nike. May I say Nike? I don't know if it's Nike or I'm a Nike. I say Nike. So he's the founder of Nike, and this book is just, if you are an entrepreneur, it's just you're going to love this book. So he just talks about and it's also so well written, like he's just telling his story. He starts all the way from the beginning, before he actually just basically from the beginning, from the idea, having this idea, turning it into a reality and just pushing forward with it. Man, like he just really never ever gave up. And now he's worth billions of dollars and he has over 60,000 employees. He's literally global. His brand went global and he started selling in his car. He sold his first 100 pair of shoes in his car. So that book is amazing. I think what I mostly got from it has to do with, rather than seeking money from your business or your career or whatever it may be, seek to fulfill a calling. So he just says that it's not, his company really was not about money. So even if you don't know what your calling is, seek to discover what that calling is, and then from there seek to fulfill that calling. That book was beautiful. It was amazing. I even cried at the end. I actually cried at the end of that book, and I don't cry when I read books, but for this one I cried at the end. The third book, which is the last one I'm going to share with you guys, is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I know I'm not the only one who has this book on my list. It's a top seller, it's a bestseller, and with good reason. It's all about human relations, basically. How to win friends and influence people. It's an amazing book. It just, even the way it's so well written, it gives bullet points, and under each of those bullet points it has like stories to prove these points. And some of these points are things that you already know. I think you just don't give them much thought. So he just really brings them to light, and makes you aware of how you are in social situations, which was amazing. And I have put a good number of these tips and practices that he has in his book, and they are legit. They are so legit. They will change how you interact with people for sure. My camera cut me off. Where had I reached? I think I was just talking about more or less what the book How to Win Friends and Influence People is all about. I don't have the notebook that has those notes. but just know that that book is really, it's excellent, like for human relations. You can apply it to your personal relationships, your work relationships, to networking. It's just a really good book. Yeah, so those are the 3 books that I have read that have really stood out to me. I have read a number. I've really been trying to read a book every single week. Sometimes I will extend to 2 weeks. So instead of reading the book for 1 week, I read it for 2 weeks. But sometimes I actually get through the books in 1 week. So currently the one I'm reading is called I don't think it's called Self-Discipline, but I know it's all about self-discipline, and it's by one of my favorite motivational speakers of all time. He's in sales, or was in sales. He's called Brian Tracy. So he wrote a book all about self-discipline, which wow, am I so out of breath. Hopefully when I finish I can come and tell you guys all about it, because I truly believe that self-discipline is the key to a lot of things. So yeah, I'm going to leave the titles of all these books I've talked about. I usually download mine from a resource called pdfdrive.net, which I believe I have shared with you guys in the past on my Instagram stories. Many of you guys took advantage of it because they have free books there. In fact, I think all the ones I've talked about, you can probably get them on pdfdrive.net for free. If not, then you can get them on Amazon. You can buy them on Amazon, read them on your Amazon Kindle. These books, the thing is, they're usually not expensive. They're usually like 1,000 bob, 1,500 bob, maximum 2,000 bob. And that's a very little investment into yourself, considering what you're going to get out of the book. So yeah, comment down below with some of the books that have changed your life, so that I can also read them and other people in the comments can get ideas on where to get started. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.